Hello and welcome back to my channel, Checks Captures Threats. Today's video will be game 8 of the Rapid Increase. So we've won every game so far, surprisingly. We're now 1746, so let's get into another 10-minute game here. So we are white for the first time, now guy from the United States. So we're going to play our d4. Now hopefully we're going to give the London system a go. Now we're going to play our bishop out first. I prefer the bishop out and then using the knights, as so here. Now a very common move is to bring the bishop out as well. So there's that. We'll see what he does. Sometimes you push the pawn here looking for c5. There's also that. We'll see what he does. He's going to play e6. So this does block the bishop in, but it's a natural move. So we're going to follow up with the same thing. If he played there first, then we would have. But okay, we're now going to continue our pyramid as expected. Now, if we play here, it's fine if they push because we just go back down. Or even we just go down here. I just feel like they waste moves, so I don't mind. Now, the reason this and this I don't really like is that queen to b6. So maybe I'll just push this down here or something. But I don't think it's a very strong move for him. So, we're going to hopefully soon get our knight out here. And we might even bring our queen to c2 just to make sure, to stop any of this threats. Now he's going to bring his knight already, so not even getting his bishops out, and he's moving a piece twice in the opening. Now I'd expect the bishop to come here to attack the bishop, so we're going to carry on doing what we normally do if this would happen, and we just bring it back. So if it captures, we can open our rook up. And we've got a very nice line here. So he's now got a very off position knight. He's going to protect it though, so he looks like he's going to keep that there for a while. Well, we're going to just get more development. Now we will castle kingside, so if he does take, we can take with the f-pawn now and have a nice line. Just still curious about this move. He's going to play it. I think we just play back here. Nothing too bad. I don't really like this just because of the queen. I'm just thinking if we did play here, this queen move, we could push and take with a knight. That doesn't actually seem too bad. So I actually do think we are going to change our mind here. Play this. So this does look like a very expected move. Also, this bishop just going to come out probably. He's going to push a pawn. Okay, so he's going to look at this move. So he could block that with this, but I'm expecting a5 after that. So it's a little bit annoying. I say it's not too much of a threat to worry about, in my opinion, because it's not going to lose anything. So I say we're just going to castle. After they capture, we capture back. And we have a very good knight soon. So all good. Here, this is going to be a weak pawn, but we play queen e2 to stop that. Now this move, we have a few ideas. We could play the knight here or even here. Pushing does seem like a very nice move in this scenario after this whole capture. So I actually think, I think we might play queen e2 first. Yeah, we're going to play queen e2 first, then do the push. I don't really like the timing of it all. Annoyingly, I think he's going to put his bishop here now, but I still think we have enough pieces, so yeah. And the reason this move is good is they're kind of forced to take or move their bishop or knight because of the fork that's coming up. So they're going to carry on here. They might be trying a sacrifice here, but I don't think it's good enough because our queen can just block. So we're just going to push. He's going to immediately capture. We're going to capture with the knight, protecting this pawn now as well. So after a capture and a capture, he's going to have to move his rook or block with his bishop. Now I say we do that, just to clarify, I don't think we take with the queen here, because this gives a little bit of a tempo. Now if he's probably going to block with the bishop, it's a nice little tempo he could technically gain. We could push the pawn, actually. So he's actually going to just move here. Now I say either this knight move does look very good. After all this capture, we actually could win the queen technically. So this is actually a good way to go. So if I just show you capture, capture, and if he tries to capture our pawn, we have discovered check onto his queen. Hopefully you see that, as you would hopefully have gone through the how to calculate video just before this video. So the reason this knight move is good in my opinion as well is this f7. This kind of is guessing he would castle in this position, But then we have a very nice queen move to try and, you know, lure him into. Looking quite difficult for him now as well. We've got a bishop check as well soon. He's going to capture now. So we're going to capture back. He can't capture now. So that pawn is nice because it's now back into a square. It's going to be isolated, but it's now back into a good square. He should not take. That would be a very silly mistake and a blunder from him. You know, he might think he can take, but no, okay, he's not going to, which is good. So, what we can do now is put our rook on an open file, I would say. You know, we've done most of the dirty work here, so... Now, we could block here after the push, but this doesn't really help us. We could play a3 first, to be fair, but I don't think this wins anything. It does open our rook up, though, but it makes their rook quite active. We could, though, play this move, which after this capture, if they try and capture back, we might be able to force a win out of this pawn. So I like that. He'll probably play this move quite quick. So, hopefully, good time. Each spent 3 minutes each so far. So nothing different there. I'm surprised he hasn't castled yet. That's the first main weird scenario there, I would say. I think soon we're going to actually put our queen onto this square. I much prefer that. It's just after this whole thing goes away, we might be able to get that. Put pressure on this pawn, and then we might be able to get this queen going here soon. So, it's been a good mid-opening, should I say, just in the middle game now. Hopefully, still even, I would say, in this position. I don't think there's anyone really winning. I think we had a very good attack. I think simplifying was the best thing he could do, though. And he will castle straight away now, so I think he understands about this threat here. So, we could straight away ruin his pawn structure, but I feel like that kind of gives him a better protection here. So, he still can't take this pawn, obviously, because we have this check. We could go here, but I still think that's the same thing. And I think pushing leads us into a bit more excess trouble. So we really need to think of a good move here soon. And I think doubling up could be an idea. Maybe a rook lift here, I think, is a very nice one if we get a rook onto this file. So I think we will do that. It's a little bit of a weird move, but I think if we can get our rooks on separate files now, so he's going to... He has now figured out the idea of this pawn. Now I say we get our queen onto this file. If he tries to attack it, I think we can try and, you know, go there straight away. You know, almost trundle along. The reason I'm doing this move as well is to stop this pawn here. We also could have a look at this amazing threat, getting a passed pawn, and that could change a lot of what happens if we do get that. I'm expecting rook move, but now he is going to take that pawn. Okay, so we did leave it unguarded, but that gives us a few ideas here now. So we can now play our pin move. Now with what piece though? I like the rook in this scenario already. If we put the rook here, I think that is going to be a much needed move. So we're going to play the rook move there. He'll most likely just move the queen back. Yep, he's going to actually put a pin. So we need to be a bit careful of this pin. We are protected though. Do we move forwards or backwards? Now this way, a bit safer, but could get back rank mated still because these pawns block us. I think we might have to play this though, as I think this being in line with this king does not bound well. So we're just going to move out of the way. Now I think that might have been not the smartest idea, but I can't, you know, let's worry about the moves ahead of us. Now I think this rook lift might have to happen. We're going to let him capture here, I think. We can't capture them. We're going to lose out completely. So I think this rook move is looking most likely. If we can keep this lift, and we might have to sacrifice a rook for a pawn here at this point. So it's going to attack us now. Okay. So we could play this and force a pawn move if we wanted to. So. Or do we want to try and get our queen active? I prefer this idea a little bit hung back, I think is the smartest option. So, as also, we have to stay in line with this rook at the minute. Before I can get this pushed, we have to protect the rook because of this queen. Now we are going to be able to get a little bit of a tempo going here, as we're now going to push our rook up here, protecting this bishop, and what we're going to do is hopefully push this soon as well. And we might actually have an idea on this now. So he's now going to put his rook all the way, his queen all the way across here. So trying some other stuff now, I see. I think we're just going to get our rook across here. I don't think there's any threat going on right now. A little bit low on time, only by about 20 seconds. He's now going to push. We do not capture, I would say, because of this. So we need to cause some threats now. We're not doing that. Now we could push, but that leads to this capture. So I think we might need to move the queen here of some sort in the next few ideas. So we might have to just triple our attack here almost. So after a capture, we're going to isolate our pawns, but so will they. So it's not the worst. And I think this pawn move will be very nice now, as it will probably put him back this way. So he might try and push. We're just going to push forward. If he captures, it blocks his bishop in, which is good. Also, we are looking at this pawn, which is the main thing, because after this check, we win this pawn as well. So that's why they're playing this move here. Though they can't capture, because we capture and we're going to checkmate them. So I think we just play our pawn up now. Nothing too seriously wrong there. He could try and do queen takes here, to be fair, but I don't think it works. Also, we just take with the pawn, and it's going to be, yeah, not a smart idea to take there. So now he's protecting the rook. We have to move this. Now I say we're just going to move all the way back. Don't do anything silly. They might try and push this pawn now. I say we just bring our rook. We might actually have to trade. It's a very good rook they have. And we still protect with the queen, this pawn. So, still not looking in the best position. I think a queen move like this, though, maybe even having a look at this bishop, is a very good idea. Also putting a pin, so if there's any checks, that's very nice. So, he's just a bit lower time than us, but that'll probably change in a second if he moves. As he does, he's going to protect that now. Although, I think that leaves us with quite a few ideas now. It's kind of let our queen in, almost. So, we might actually now capture. But maybe I think we play our queen here straight away. The only thing is I don't like this rook move here. So we might actually not do that. Maybe, I think just moving our queen across could be a good idea. We need to come up with a move soon. So I'm going to say we're actually just maybe going to move it across here. So this push does look like it's going to happen. Annoyingly, we might lose his pawn, but I can't really do too much about that. Didn't really need to move the queen, but just make some moves that they might not expect. I do feel like this move might not even happen, because I feel like there's too much that they might, but it does look like a very good move. The only thing I would say is after the check, I feel like that queen could get very blocked in. I think we might need to also move the king next move. That could have been a smarter option here, actually. Moving the king across to g1 would have been a nice opinion there. But we're still ahead on time at the minute. You know, you can't spend too long. It might be a 10-minute game each. But, you know, in the long run, you can't just... If you use all those 10 minutes, you might have a very good position, but it might not be worthwhile. So he's going to push this pawn. Now, I heavily don't rate this, because we can just capture it. But also, we can capture this pawn with either the rook. Now, I feel like the rook should take this. And I'm going to do... I can't take it with the rook, actually. As we can see, there is a bishop skewer there. So if we take with this bishop here, sorry, the queen, it will be check. So I think we're going to have to play this, although I think we're going to have to just try and make them move. And we're going to move our queen, rook now down. Can't really do too much there. A little bit of a difficult position. Our queen is protecting these pawns. We're attacking this pawn. Maybe we're winning, maybe we're not. It's a little bit difficult to tell. This pawn is unprotected. This queen now has this square. You know, there's a lot going on for both sides. It's a little bit confusing. I think our next move will be something like this. I do not like this. That's why I'm expecting this push soon. So, a limiting our chances, as he's going to move this pawn instead, opening our bishop. If he captures, I don't think that's going to be good. That's why I want to play this move here. Going to play it quite quickly. If they capture, we capture the rook, as we have 3 on 2. And we're also threatening this pawn now, which then lead to this move, which I think wins at least a rook, because nothing will be able to block it. As he blocks, now I think we get our bishop in here at all. Maybe if take. Could we do rook's take? No. I say we just attack now here. He's going to play a move like maybe he can't actually, he has to go back, I think, because otherwise there will be a lot of pressure here. He's now going to take, which is a complete blunder, I think, because we can just take his rook. I think he might have made a critical error. I don't know why he's played that. And we're just going to take the rook, and whatever it is, it's checkmate next move. And here we go. A very abrupt ending there. We scraped through a tense game, as I thought we was losing for most of that, but it seemed like it just fell apart for them, as we had 2 blunders. So very, very not poor game for me, I would say. 70% accuracy though, so he was able to find a lot of it. But as we see here, this London system did work in the end, as we're just going to go for all the moves. There was a silly mistake, it says up here, Queen D2 in a second. Mistake there, they say. I quite like the move, really. Okay, Queen D2 is because you lose the pawn. That was understandable, I said about that. So there was a load of misses up here. So we're actually about, I think they wanted them to play F5, which they did do earlier. But they did not really like this. It was actually 2 points down here. This was dead even, but this is what put it back. And now this is a complete blunder, they're saying, because they missed F5. So with F5 we go back. Then is it rook here? No. I would have thought that rook would have come down there. Does that not win anything? Oh, because they go here. Okay. And they're saying, this just wins. I think in the long run, this just wins a rook. Okay. Anyway, they missed that. This is where I think we start coming back, because this was a huge blunder. We took the wrong pawn. We should have just taken it. It was a bit of a given. We go back, and I think this is where this move here is a real critical error. And obviously, we was only a point up, but I think whatever they played here, they're saying that this was the best move. I think that gives us this pawn, per chance. Don't really like this check though, but it's difficult to play. He definitely blundered at the end there, but a very tense game to the wire. So that is it for today's game. Hopefully you enjoyed that. So thank you and bye bye.